What is going on, lads, and welcome to episode 2 of Comta 1, which I am now thinking of maybe calling Live Comta 1. Someone suggested in the comments calling it Live Comta Division 1, but it's not quite as catchy, but I might change it to Live Comta 1. But anyway, let's crack on with this. You'll see in our first game we got 3 points. If you did miss that, do be sure to go back and check it out. But we are just going to crack on with the next game. Again, we're using the Polish League team, so hopefully we won't come up against too much of a good gold team. We are in Division 5. As you know, so they shouldn't be too good, but you never know. I still haven't picked myself up some decent kits. But anyway, I was sitting around thinking of what I could talk about in this thing, because obviously, Jesus Christ, this team is horrendous. If I don't win this, there's going to be something horrendously wrong. He's got a starter pack team by the looks of it. He's got no chemistry and one non-rare silver player. So like I was saying, I was thinking, what can I talk about in these videos? I was just flicking through my comment section to look for topics and stuff that people have asked me about and were interested in hearing. And a lot of the stuff that people ask is who I support, and also why don't I support Liverpool. So I thought I'd use this livecom to have a little chat about why I support Everton, the history behind Everton and stuff like that. And I think the camera needs changing again because I've got myself a new PS3 now. So let's just double check. Going to, where is it? Cameras. Yeah, stick it back onto telly. It's so annoying. I swear I've got the hospitality settings saved, but apparently not. Anyway, off we go. So, a lot of people ask why I support Everton and why don't I support Liverpool, because surely they are my local club. And for the people who don't know, Everton and Liverpool, their grounds are extremely close. There's a park in Anfield called Stanley Park, and I'm not too sure how big it is. I've never actually walked across it. But on one side of the park is Anfield, Liverpool's ground, and on the other side of the park is Goodison, Everton's ground. And the reason they're so close is because Everton originally used to play at Anfield, and there was a big dispute between the chairman and the person who owned the land for Anfield and stuff like this, and they were basically having a go at each other, and the chairman decided he wanted a nice goal. Melixon, good start there. The chairman decided that he wanted to take over the club basically and run it all himself, and the board and everyone else wouldn't have it, and the guy who owns Anfield wouldn't give him the lands to have the stadium on and let him keep the ground there. So what he did is go, basically the rest of Everton left and created Everton and took Everton to Goodison, whereas this guy, I think John Holding is his name, stayed at Anfield and made Liverpool. So basically the club got split down the middle because there was a massive argument within the club and stuff like that. Kind of like a little civil war, and some of the players stayed and some of the players went with Holding, went with Everton, and some of the players stayed with Holding at Anfield. So then obviously Everton needed a new ground, so they literally just went to the other side of the park and built Goodison. And it was like, at the time, this was in like the very late 1800s, start of the 1900s, something like that. It was like a state-of-the-art pitch. Like, it was one of the first stadiums to have under soil heating, and it was the first stadium to have 2 tiers on either side, on all sides, and all stuff like this. So at the time it was state of the art. Now it's a bit of a dump because it's still basically exactly the same as it was hundreds of years ago, or 800 years ago. So at the time it was absolutely brilliant, and it was really good for the club and stuff like that. And we got rid of this dickhead who was the chairman and just left him in Anfield, and he created his own club, Liverpool. And they did go on to be, there was a massive rivalry between us. We're going to get sweaty, and we've missed. And at one point Liverpool have overtook us, and they've got more trophies and all stuff like that. But we are starting to pull it back now, so we're going pretty well. We're higher than them in the table, and we're looking to progress and get into Champions League football and stuff like that. But back to the original story. So Everton have moved across Stanley Park. Liverpool have created their own new club, and basically you've got these 2 clubs who are literally on each other's doorstep. I think it'd probably take you about 5 or 10 minutes to walk across the park. I used to sit in the top balcony for Everton, and you can see over the roof, and you can literally see Anfield as if it's 2 seconds away. It's absolutely ridiculous how close they are, putting 2 big massive stadiums. What an absolutely quality finish by Traore. So then, when people say, why don't you support your local team, surely it's Liverpool. It's not Liverpool. In fact, Goodison Park is probably closer to me than Anfield is by like a minute or something like that, but closer all the same. So Everton is my local team, and the reason it's called Everton is because there's a borough in Liverpool called Everton, literally called Everton. The little statue that's on the front of our crest, the little tower, is actually a thing in Liverpool. It's in Everton, obviously. so you can actually go up to see it. It's only like 4 foot high or something stupid like that. I've been to see it. We're gonna get sweaty again. This guy, poor kid. So that's where it stems from. So even though the city is Liverpool and a lot of other football clubs are called like Manchester something and Manchester this and all things like that, and they're named after this city and Birmingham and Wolves and stuff, we're actually named after the original little town that we came from, or borough, inside Liverpool, because like most teams it started off as a Sunday League team. So you're not going to call your Sunday League team after a whole city, are you? Because there'd be obviously lots of Sunday League teams in the city. It was just Everton was the one that took off. So back to why I support Everton. So my dad supported Everton. He didn't actually, he was born in Liverpool and grew up in Carlisle, but still supported Everton while he was up in Carlisle, and then came back to Liverpool when he was like 18 and 19, and obviously still supported Everton then. And then he had me, and I used to watch the match with him when I was like really small, like 3 and 4 and 5 and stuff like that. And then once I got to like 6 or 7, he started to take me to the match. So we just used to go on odd occasions, and if I remember rightly, my first ever game was against Derby County when I was about 6 or 7 or something like that. I can't quite remember, but I'm sure I've still got the ticket stub somewhere in the house. So we used to go to that, and there's 4 stands in Everton's ground. There's the 2 long ones which run down the long side of the pitch. Obviously there's the top balcony, or the main stand, and the top balcony. So the main stand is a double stand, like 2 tiers high, and then on top of that again is the top balcony. So that's really fucking high, but you get a really good view. And then on the other side there is the Bullens, because it's on Bullens Road. So there's the upper Bullens and the lower Bullens. You've then got, oh please don't rage quit, I'm enjoying this commentary. You've got the park end at one end of the pitch, behind one of the goals, because that's the end that faces the park, that splits the 2 clubs, the 2 grounds. And then at the other end you've got the Gladys Street, because it's on Gladys Street, and this guy has quit. So that's pretty disappointing that we didn't get a full gameplay for this commentary, but I have thought about what I would do in the event of this situation, and I'm going to just leave it on the screen that we come to in a minute, because I assume most of you don't actually watch the gameplay anyway. You just listen to my commentary while you play FIFA yourself or something like that. So I'm going to finish it off. So we was talking about the 4 different stands at Goodison, and you've got the Bullens, the main stand, the park end, and the Gladys Street. And when I was little, I used to sit in the Gladys Street with my dad. We just used to buy odd tickets, and that is the place in Goodison where most of the atmosphere is. So a lot of the hardcore, die-hard supporters who go get smashed and sing their tits off are the ones who sit in the Gladys Street. Now, I then got a season ticket a couple of years later and got in, let's say, a slightly more quiet stand. So we were sitting in the top balcony now, right in the middle on the halfway line in the 2nd row. And I had that seat, that exact same seat, for about 10 years. So I had it all the way up until university. So my dad, as a lot of you probably know, passed away a couple of months ago, but he was sick for years. So towards the end we used to miss the odd game because he couldn't go because he was feeling sick or was unwell or something like that. But before that we never missed a single game, and we sat in the exact same seat for 10 years, going to every home cup game, every home league game, all of them, the friendlies, most of the pre-season friendlies. We went to literally every single game. So I was like a massive Everton supporter. So when I went away to uni, because we'd started to miss some of the games with me dad being sick, it didn't seem like a logical thing to do to keep me season ticket, because I was moving 2.5 hours away by train or car. So it had been every 2 weeks a 5-hour journey just to get back to go to the match, and then I might come home and my dad might feel sick and not be able to go. So it was sort of, let's say, a bit of a stupid thing to keep on with me season ticket. So I do still go to the odd match, and like last Christmas I bought my dad tickets to go to the match, and we both went to the Boxing Day game. But I obviously don't go to anywhere near as many games as I used to. Like my wardrobe at home, 2 of the big like wide drawers that go underneath the wardrobe, and then the bottom of my wardrobe underneath my clothes is literally stacked full of programs from the match. I used to get a program every single game as well. So I've got 10 years worth of programs, never missing a single one. Like if we missed a game, we would go to, there's a church next to Goodison Park that has the programs for sale from like the previous weeks before the match. So we go to the match the next week and make sure we went into the church beforehand and bought the program from the previous week. So it's not really organised, but I assume if it was, then it'd actually be a pretty decent collection. Like I've got the ones from Wembley when we went to Wembley. I've got all the European Cup ones, the FA Cup ones, everyone from the FA Cup run, all stuff like that. So I've got quite a big collection of all these programs from the match. So I'm not sure if it would be worth any money or anything like that, but it is pretty cool to have, and like I can go back and look at all the old Everton players and interviews and stuff like that. So I used to read them at half time, and I haven't really touched them since, but occasionally I will go through them and pull a couple out and have a look at what was going on, and it's just really weird to look at them and see. So like I was saying, I used to go to the match all the time with my dad, and that is literally the only reason why I support Everton. I am now like a diehard Everton fan, and I watch all the games on telly, or live stream them legally, of course. So I never miss a match, and I always watch Match of the Day and stuff like that, but I don't go to the games as much as I used to, obviously with moving away to York. I was actually thinking about starting to go to the York City games instead, and I was hoping that we'd get them in the FA Cup or something like that. It would have been pretty cool, as I haven't been to an Everton match for quite a while now. It wasn't the Christmas just gone, it was the Christmas before that I got my dad tickets for. He wasn't here this Christmas, so it's been a really long time since I've been and watched Everton live, so it would have been quite good if we could have went and seen them in York, because I do quite like York as a team. I follow them quite a little bit. I don't really watch the matches because they're not on the telly, and the Football League show is boring as hell, but I follow the results, and I've got, like, know the players' names off the top of my head and stuff like that, just from playing on career mode on FIFA. So it would have been quite cool to go and watch them, but unfortunately York got knocked out. But this commentary is getting kind of weird because I'm just sitting here looking at this screen, so I am going to cut it off here. Unfortunately, I didn't get to say everything that I wanted to say about Everton. There was loads of little details and stuff I was going to tell you about, but that was getting into the second half of the game, and this kid unfortunately quit at 40 minutes. So if you would like to know all the other little nitbits and stories I've got about Everton, let me know, and I will do them in a future one. It'll have to wait a little bit, otherwise I'll just be repeating myself straight after this commentary. But anyway, lads, hopefully you've enjoyed this commentary anyway. Hopefully it went a little bit smoother than the first one. So if you have enjoyed it, do be sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you are new. Thanks for watching, lads, and I will see you next time.